What would happen if someone had a sore on their head or beard under the law of Moses? This is the question that we seek to answer today as we continue our verse-by-verse study of the book of Leviticus on walking through the Bible.
Glory of his cross.
If you have a Bible with you, turn to Leviticus chapter 13. We're going to be reading from verses 29 to 37. If you don't have a Bible, don't worry. Just follow along with us on the screen. The version that we'll be reading from is the New King James Version. So, Leviticus chapter 13, beginning at verse 29. If a man or a woman has a sore on the head or the beard, then the priest shall examine the sore, and if it appears deeper than the skin, and there is in it thin yellow hair, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a scaly leprosy of the head or the beard. But if the priest examines the scaly sore, and indeed it does not appear deeper than the skin, and there is no black hair in it, then the priest shall isolate the one who has the scale 7 days. And on the 7th day the priest shall examine the sore, and if the scale has not spread, and there is no yellow hair in it, and the scale does not appear deeper than the skin, he shall shave himself, but the scale he shall not shave. And the priest shall isolate the one who has the scale another 7 days. On the 7th day the priest shall examine the scale, and if indeed the scale is not spread over the skin, and does not appear deeper than the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him clean. He shall wash his clothes and be clean. But if the scale should at all spread over the skin after his cleansing, then the priest shall examine him, and indeed, if the scale has spread all over the skin, the priest need not seek for yellow hair. He is unclean. But if the scale appears to be at a standstill, and there is a black hair grown up in it, the scale has healed. He is clean, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. In the last 3 episodes, we've been dealing with uncleanness that arises from leprosy. We must realize before moving on, though, what we call leprosy today is a narrower term than what is used here in Leviticus 13. Leprosy today is also known as Hansen's disease and is characterized by the leprosy bacterium which attacks the nerves. It is spread by multiple skin contacts as well as by droplets from nasal secretions that are transmitted from person to person. Some of what we've considered already could be described as this disease, but what we covered in the last episode and what we're dealing with today wouldn't fit under the category of leprosy today. If a man or a woman had a sore on their head, or a man a sore in his beard, in other words on the chin, they, like as before, would go to the priest. The priest, not a doctor, was the only one who could pronounce a person clean or unclean. Why? Because for one to come into the tabernacle to offer sacrifices, one had to be clean. Any doctors that might have existed do not have jurisdiction over what goes on in the tabernacle. Only the priests do, which is why they were given this task. When a person with a sore on their head or beard came to the priest for examination, what the priest was looking for was to see if the sore was deeper than the skin or had a thin yellow hair in it. This would have signified the possibility of infection, which would cause a person to be declared unclean. If upon examination, though, the priest examines the scaly sore and it doesn't appear deeper than the skin, and there was no black hair on it, the person would be isolated for 7 days. Why? Because there could be a possibility that this sore is infected or contagious. However, it is too early to tell. Therefore, just to be safe, the person was isolated. On the 7th day, the sore would be re-examined, and if the sore had not spread, nor if there was a yellow hair in it, and it doesn't go deeper than the skin, even then it might not be conclusive. The person would have to shave themselves completely except for the scale. He would then be isolated for another 7 days. After the second 7 days, the moment of truth came. If the scale had still not spread, and it does not appear deeper than the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him clean. He was to go and wash his clothes and presumably himself and be clean. What would happen if the scale had spread? In this case, the priest would not need to examine the person for the yellow hair, the infection, for the sore would have made itself known as not being healed. It is defined by Leviticus as a leprous sore, and the person is unclean. The person would be declared clean again when, upon examination of the priest, the scale appears to be at a standstill and a black hair is growing out of it. Until then, he is unclean. As you can all see, I have a beard, though it is about to be shaved off. From time to time, while I had this latest beard, I got pimples or sores underneath my beard. This might simply be regular acne or an ingrown hair or something else, but if I lived under the law of Moses, I would have had to go to the priest to have it checked out. And I would have likely had to shave my beard off before I wanted to, all because of a sore. But such was the law for Israel, and so if the people were to be holy, they would follow this law. With that, our time is up for today. The Lord willing, we hope you'll join us for tomorrow's discussion of Leviticus 13, verses 38 to 46, as we continue our walk through the Bible, one verse at a time.
I'm not ashamed.
Thank you for watching today's episode. We hope that you found it edifying and ask that you not only subscribe to our channel and podcast, but that you like and share this episode among your friends, so that the saving gospel of Jesus Christ can go out to the whole world.
Of his cross.